Hi, garden friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Era, and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do gardening-related videos. It is Sunday, and it's time for a Sunday walkabout. All right, guys, it is a cold one here in North Georgia. We are below freezing today, and I'm holding this phone, and it is cold, even with the gloves on. So this video will not be a long one, but I still want to kind of give you an idea of what's going on, what I've been up to in the last few days and today. All right, so in reference to the backyard, things are looking great. Nothing to complain about. The evergreens are holding the fort down, and the things that were sprouting, such as the Dutch irises, the daffodils, and the daylilies, they are continuing to sprout, and they look great. Now, in reference to the wood chips, that also looks great. I'm really impressed. This is my second to third go around. I should say third, because last year alone I put 2 sets of wood chips, and it has truly been a godsend in reference to minimizing and smothering the weeds. And I just like how it gives a little bit more class to the garden. So if I come in close, you're going to see still looking great. Still looking great. Now, another thing I want to point out in the backyard and pretty much all of the garden really is the fact that, yes, we are in January. I don't cut back my dead foliage or my prior season's foliage until February. January is our coldest month, so I'm expecting things to go even colder than they are today. There's no point for me to cut off foliage right now and then have other foliage be damaged, right? Because what happens is that, yeah, we might be 26 right now, but in the next couple of days, we're going to be back up to 50 something, right? So no need to cut anything off. But so, for example, if I was going to cut anything off, let's say, for example, this guy here is the Cat's Meow Nepoda. You can see this is last season's stuff that I haven't cut off, but you can see all the way in there is 2026's foliage. So I'm going to leave this alone, all this alone, until February, when things really calm down. And even in February, it's going to get cold, but at least the coldest month would have been behind us, right? And I'll definitely do a separate video showing you what perennials I'll be cutting back and how I cut it back, right? So for example, this guy here, the Nepoda, I might cut that differently than I would cut maybe this lantana here, which is the Chapel Hill lantana that did amazingly well in my garden last year, guys. And versus, if I'm cutting back Veronicas or daisies or roses or whatever it is, it all depends. But that's a separate video, and that's usually going to be in February. Here I am in the side yard, and I'm very happy with what things are looking like. The last time you saw this, you know that I put in the boxwoods. I put in the sunshine ligustrum, and I put in the gardenia. I actually went back and bought some more of these stepping stones to continue the pathway, and I still need more. These were only $1.78 at Lowe's. No big deal. Look at all the space I have, guys. I mean, even with all the clearance plants that I have, even if I plant all of those, I'm still going to have so much space. Now, in reference to the stump right here, right? I have a little cheap fountain on there, but don't count that too much. I'm going to buy an actual fountain, solar fountain, and put that there. But I've planted some daylilies. I've actually transplanted some daylilies. Daylilies do really well for me, and I like them. So here's a bunch of daylilies going that way around. So I have a whole bunch of daylilies going around the stump. And then I have a whole bunch of banana cream daisies going around that same stump. And then I have some autumn fire sedum going around that same stump. Well, I only have 2 sedums, but the plan is to get some more going around. So hopefully the plan is when spring and summer comes around, you should be able to go around that stump and see some really nice yellow white daisies, then some really nice red sedums, and then some really nice yellow daylilies. So I can't wait for you to see those, right? So I've been working on that. And then, like I said, I'm going to bring the rest of the stepping stones going that way, because as you can see, I ran out right here, and I'm going to keep going that way and then meet it up there. I still have to plant some of these daffodils. Now, I bought them in the fall when they were on sale at Lowe's, and I came home in, I think it's October, November, and I put these guys in a container with some dirt or some soil, and they have sprouted. Right, daffodils do extremely well here. They naturalize, they come back, and they're not bothered by the the pest or the critters, right? So I have all types of daffodils, and I will definitely go into more detail with you about them when they actually sprout. Like for example, this is replete. This one just says a garden mix. This one says seeing double. And this one says garden fire mix. So they need to get in the ground because I definitely want to put on a spring show. Let me know if you like daffodils and how they do in your yard. Still have a lot of clearance plants that I still have to plant, guys. It is just so much. I also have these that for whatever reason they're back here and not in that card I just showed you. But the Dutch irises bloom in late spring, and they too I bought them from Lowe's on clearance, and I got a really nice deal for 50% off for and these come in yellow, white, and purple. So can you imagine that in the spring? Okay, so that's those. I need to go in the ground. And these are all the other clearance plants that I have left over that needs to go in the ground. This is butterfly bush, roses, azaleas, scabiosa, all kinds of stuff right here. The containers are really beginning to pile up, guys, but it's not the cheapy containers. It's not the typical, container that you buy your plants in. These are the ones that I actually spent money on, right? So for example, all these guys were either $4, $5, $6, $10, or $12. This guy here, I need to clean it up. These are all like, urn-like containers that needs to be cleaned up. These I started out putting a lot of plants in containers, and that's because that tree was in the way. I couldn't plant a lot of stuff. But now that a lot of things can go in the ground, I'm really piling up in containers. But because I spent so much money on them, I'm going to find somewhere to put them because I'm definitely not going to give these away. But yeah, definitely got to clean that area up. Okay, so here we are in the front, and this is that slope bed that I always talk about. I got a little bit done in here because remember I told you this slope bed, I'm hoping for it to be mostly evergreens. I think that first row will probably annuals. Keep a nice color in the summer, the spring, and the fall. So where you see these cabbage and kales and these pansies, this is always going to be some sort of a annual color, whatever the season is. But right behind that, there's really nothing. So I really have an open and clean slate to do whatever I want. But what this whole area here that you see, there's nothing, I am hoping for it to be evergreen, either arborvitaes or flowering shrubs. I have a lot of flowering shrubs that are evergreen for me here in Georgia. But the basic or the back end of things will be these guys here. This is the dwarf Burford holly, which I absolutely love and does well in my yard. I have 4 of them in the back. So once that water comes down my downspout, right? It's going to come this way, it's going to get filtered out, and then it's not going to get eroded too much, right? So there's 1 dwarf Burford holly, and I have 4 of them. Then, after I put in the 4 dwarf Burford hollies, I had 2 extra lemon lime nandinas, and all of these guys were clearance plant from Lowe's earlier on in the year. Now, here I am, the next, one of the second tree stump that ends up being like in a circular bed, kind of. Don't know what I'm going to do here. I might put this guy here, which is a yucca, a color guard yucca, but not sure, it's not in the ground, but I'm thinking about putting it in here. And again, these are my rocks, right? So not much going on this front bed right now. And but that's okay. I spoke to my Lowe's guy. He's expecting some shrubs next week, and once I know what shrubs I'm going to end up putting in, I'm going to go there and buy it. So hopefully by next week, probably not next week, because I'm actually not going to be in the country because I need to deal with some family stuff. So I might not be able to get it done next week, but at least I'll be purchasing them next week, right? But anyway, this is what that front area is looking like. Even in this cold, this beauty here, which is the Lenten rose or hellebore, are doing great. You've seen them in the shorts, and you see them last week when I showed you that they are blooming beautifully. These guys, they bloom in the winter into the early spring. They're an evergreen for me here in Georgia. They do bring out new foliage every year. So as you can see, this was last season's foliage, and it looks ratty right now because this is 2026's foliage. It looks really, really great. So when this actually matures, I will cut these off so it will look really, really nice. This is where I kept my Vago Garden retractable hose during the season of 2025. And I took it inside because, things were kind of cold and it was below freezing for a couple of days in December. And I actually never brought it back outside, but I need to bring it back because I need to really start watering with the hose rather than watering in the watering can. So this is what it looks like. And all you do is you just literally put it right there. This is where it sits. Right? This is concreted in like a 2x4 or whatever. And then we poured some concrete and then we screwed this in and you literally put the hose there and it stays and it kind of swivels too. So the hose is not there right now because it's 26 degrees right now and I really wasn't planting as much as I should. But I find myself using that watering can too much when I could be more efficiently using the hose. So I'm going to bring the hose back in. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it for me here on Sunday. I'm really liking what things are looking like. I've been taking my time and going through this. It's a lot of work. I'm actually beginning to feel some aches and pains. My shoulder hurts. My fingers hurt. My back hurts, but I can't stop. I have nobody else to help me do it, so I kind of have to do it myself. I'm proud of what I've done, and I know that it shows because people have been passing by and waving at me, or my neighbor has told me that it looks great, so I know that the work is showing. But let me know what you think, guys, on this really beautiful but cold January evening. Let me know what you think, guys. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my new videos. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.